The alchemy of time has left thick layers of sandstone and limestone, fractured by frost and hot summer sun, creating gray-brown blocks in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. These Ozark Hills cradle an authentic American treasure, architect Fay Jones. This sensitive Southern artist is acknowledged as a master designer throughout the world.
I've often been referred to as a regionalist, and I'm not disturbed by that term at all, because I think any architecture that is an organic architecture is going to have this sense of belonging to the place where it is. It seems to grow out of the environmental context, be responsive to particular places. So if the particular place happens to be the Ozark or these hills, this area of Arkansas, and the buildings respond to that kind of thing, it pleases me no end that they look at home or have a sense of place, belonging to this place.
As a senior in high school, he saw a movie short of Frank Lloyd Wright's Johnson's Wax Building in the Rialto Theater. It forever changed his life.
I was completely bowled over by the film. And of course, that was the first time I ever heard the name Frank Lloyd Wright, who film indicated was the architect for the building. And of course, in the voiceover, talking about the film and explaining the building, they talked about it in terms of not only the unique construction techniques, but also about the artistic aspect of the whole building as a work of art. And so here was kind of a coming together of two things that I'd always liked to do, was the painting and drawing and art, and construction, building things. And so these two things coming together, although architecture was not a totally new word or term to me, it just took on new meaning that day. And so I walked out of the theater that day knowing it's an architect I want to be.
In recent years, he has emerged from the shadow of his mentor to produce a strong, identifiable architecture, a profound architecture for the late 20th century.
I've never tried to be a little Frank Lloyd Wright, or never wanted to become a little Frank Lloyd Wright. In fact, Mr. Wright himself assured me there's just no such thing as a little Frank Lloyd Wright. Of course, that's a practice line, of course, but it's usually good for a chuckle, but it's true. I've always welcomed any kind of opportunity to acknowledge the influence, and I emphasize influence, of Frank Lloyd Wright on the work that I've done.
Fay Jones has had a lifetime love affair with architecture. Today, more than 200 remarkable structures attest to Jones's genius, including a group of private chapels which rank among the century's most remarkable buildings. They have a magical presence that lifts them to the level of fine art.
Somewhere that these intangibles that have to do with rhythm and balance and scale and proportion and space and light and how these things modify the things you're doing, that you're going to be able to bring these things together in some inventive or some new way that combines these things, and they all somehow stand up to rational processes, but somehow in the process they become something of a higher order, that they transcend mere building, mere construction, mere technical achievement, and rise to the level of architecture.
Jones has managed to achieve what many contemporary architects have failed to do. He has attracted a following of people who love his buildings. Each year, more than 300,000 people trek up the slopes near Eureka Springs, Arkansas, to visit his masterwork, Thorncrown Chapel. Visitors are drawn to the structure's transparent harmony and to its marriage with the mountain. Fay Jones attributes his unique style to maintaining the principles of organic architecture.
Well, I believe if one understands a certain set of principles, adopts a certain philosophical stance, and then proceeds accordingly, that something out of his own processes, out of his own ideas, out of his own ways of seeing and feeling and thinking will emerge and will make the work that he does then uniquely his own.
Jones's extraordinary houses are found throughout the Ozarks. They range from a mountainside residence in Hog-Eye that owes his heritage to the barns of northwest Arkansas, to a waterside house whose garden wing bridges a running stream. At Picayune, Mississippi, he designed a pavilion for a park which celebrates the ecological wholeness of the southern forest. This open-air structure is set like a Japanese temple beside a dark pond. Jones's well-crafted buildings have received international acclaim. He received the American Institute of Architects Gold Medal, its highest honor in 1990. President Bush, in a tradition since Thomas Jefferson's time, bestowed the award. It was followed by a glittering ceremony where Britain's Prince Charles praised Jones's unique contribution of building in harmony with nature.
The AIA Gold Medal in 1990 certainly had a great impact. It's changed my life. It certainly was an exceptional honor that I'm still trying to figure out.
From Little Rock to Buckingham Palace, Fay Jones is known throughout the world. In an age that has altered the landscape and sometimes upset the natural order, he has given us some of the most memorable buildings in the world that honor the land. Fay Jones has left us places of astonishing beauty, incredible worth, places that are beyond the pale.